Hello everyone. This is a match against JPA, who is on Sneak and Show. This game one wasn't particularly interesting. I had a pretty strong hand with Life from the Loam, Wasteland, and I just made a bunch of constructs, wastelanded him, and won the game that way. What I really want to show is game two, which had some interesting decisions and really shows some things you should learn about the matchup. So let's go right in. On sideboard, we want to bring in 2 snipers and 2 flutes because they have Magus of the Moon. Ghost Quarter really isn't that good. They have 3 basics. If a deck has more than 2 basics, Ghost Quarter really just doesn't do much. I also bring no Vigors because Needle is a much better answer to sneak attack. Okay, so we have a pretty good hand here. We have Acceleration and a Flute. And keep this. They start with a Ponder. You go Exploration stage. Ponder again. And now in turn 2 we already have the biggest decision of the match. And we're in a situation where we can almost guarantee a win. So think about it for a while and see if you can find the correct line. What I do is I play Avimaya Depths and I go for a Rumble. But this is the wrong line. I was already locked for top 8. I didn't think this through very much. But this is a really bad line because what we really want to do is just pass the turn. By passing the turn, we are playing around the 2 things that matter the most, which is Show and Tell and Magus of the Moon. If he goes for Magus, we just combo. And if he goes for Show and Tell, we can put a Disruptor Flute in, naming Force of Will, and then we can Crop Rot for the Caracas and bounce the Atraxa, make a Merit Lage, and win the game. So we're pretty much covered. The only thing that can happen is that he can Show and Tell and put a Magus. That's a tricky line they sometimes do to catch you off guard. You can play around that by making Merit Lage while Show and Tell is on the stack. But that opens you up to Archon of Cruelty. So it's a gamble you have to take. It's usually worth taking, I would say, but not always. But this line here was really bad because now if he uses Force of Will, I cannot make Merit Lage anymore. And he does. Also, I cannot really play this Disruptor Flute because if he has a Magus of the Moon, I just lose the game. So I have to pass. I have an Ancient Tomb in the deck, so this allows me to still make Merit Lage. Okay, he does go for Show and Tell. We put a Flute, naming Force of Will. And here what we want to do is we want to Crop Rot while the Atraxa triggers on the stack, because he hasn't played a land yet. So he could maybe find a Land Flusterstorm or Ancient Tomb Disruptor Flute and block the Thespian stage before we get the chance to make Merit Lage. That's why it's very important to Crop Rot now before giving him the chance. And here we can opt for either Caracas or Ancient Tomb. I think Ancient Tomb is better because, like I said, if he goes for Disruptor Flute on Thespian stage, we're in pretty bad shape. We cannot do much anymore. And the problem is that this doesn't increase our clock. he gets to chump with the Atraxa and he goes above 20 life, so it's not 100% sure in this decision, but it's what I did. I was rewarded for it though, because he found a Disruptor Flute and an Ancient Tomb. So we make Merit Lage end of turn. He goes for a Flute on Caracas. Now we have a pretty good draw. We can play this naming Sneak Attack, because he has Emrakul in hand. I think it's better than naming Show and Tell. He has Chump Block here. And what I also want to do is play this Exploration, because if I can get more than 6 permanents on the battlefield, I can survive a hit from Emrakul and keep my Merit Lage. I also have to make sure I stay above 15 life though. Stock up. We hit for 20, we draw a Pithing Needle. This needle doesn't change much. We should probably name Sneak Attack again, just to play around something like a Braid. We don't get to play around Brotherhood's End, but that's okay, we cannot do it.